piece of legislation called the nation-state law, which declares that Israel is the nation-state of the Jewish people and includes ideas of what that entails, including the national anthem and state symbol, having Shabbat and Jewish holidays as national days of rest, the law of return, commitment to diaspora Jewry, and more. One particular clause spurring criticism allows for communities to establish towns exclusively for certain populations, excluding others on whatever grounds they deem fit. So I actually want to start with you, Rami. On a personal level, how does the nation-state bill, make you feel as an Arab citizen of Israel?
If you're talking about Jaffa, for example, you feel the same like in the national issue. Jaffa had a minority, Arabic minority, and you feel sometimes the aggression of the majority by the law, by the police, by the act of the civilians. I think when you are much more aggressive from the official side, you'll feel much more worse about this issue.
Well, the state is saying that the government is saying, what is wrong with the Jewish state emphasizing its Jewishness?
Because they're taking control all over the rest of the public. Because it's like behaving like you are the only one who's in the state, not the others.
Simcha? I mean, with a bill like the nation state, is Israel choosing to be more Jewish than democratic?
I don't think that. I think that to put this in most of the nations and most of the countries in the world are nation states with a majority and with signs of the nation of the national majority as their sign. Many European countries has the cross on their
they're democratic.
They're democratic, but the national symbols are Christians or applying, or they have laws like the right of return, and they have ethnic diaspora. It's very common in many countries around the world. It has nothing to do with democracy. Democracy just means one man, one vote, and if the fact that the man is Arab or Jew, and that's the situation in Israel since the beginning.
I think
they both get the same vote.
It's not only election democracy.
That's democracy. The rest, liberal values.
The day they taught about democracy, it's much more than just one man, one vote. The truth is that Israel is a Jewish state in the sense of national symbols. It has since 48. It's the same question as about Jerusalem. Do we need to emphasize it, and why do we need to do that? The whole idea here is to say we are more Jewish than we are democratic, because many people have missed that day at school when they taught about equality and democracy, and think that there is no problem with being more Jewish and less democratic, when there is a big problem with that. It's not just about Arabs, by the way, it's also about many of the Jews who live here.
Citizenship, every Jewish in the world who will be born in Argentina or everywhere else, he can come and become a citizen.
That's the law of return.
That's the thought.
I don't know most. Many democracies, including in Europe, has the same kind of law for ethnic majority that they can return and come. You have it in
so it's
Croatia.
It's not a democracy.
But that's what defines democracy. If there is no other democracy in the world, and Israel is the only democratic state, not only in the Middle East but in the world, maybe we will define democracy.
It's not about Arabs and Jews. It's also about the Jews themselves, because not all Jews see Judaism the same way, and stating Judaism as the main issue of Israel.
If emphasizing your identity seems offensive to someone, that's a problem for this someone.
Might not be exactly my Jewish identity, and
so
if there is
read
no
the law,
that,
and if you have something that you object to as part of your Judaism,
for example, the right to get married or the right to get divorced,
it's not in the law.
Of course it's in the law. The only way you're allowed to
It's not in this law.
Not in the nation-state bill.
It's not in the nation-state bill.
But it
that's what I'm
emphasizes
talking.
the whole problem here.
Okay.
Whether we are
so you have a problem with the state of Israel, not with the nation-state bill.
Whether we are a Jewish state or whether we are a state which is the home of the Jewish people, it's very different.
In the minute that we have left, I just want to know, maybe there's just another one of those attempts at legislation that never really goes through. It gets a lot of media attention. The politicians score points with their bases. Maybe that's what this nation-state bill is.
The only problem is that sometimes these laws do pass, and that's a problem because we are stuck with it.
Usually they backtrack towards the end. I don't know. What do you think this is actually going to move forward?
I really hope that you are right, because I object to the nation.
You object to the nation-state bill?
I object, but not because what is written in it, but because what's not written in it. What you can't find in this law is who interprets it. Right. And the court will do with this law whatever he wants.
Last 20 seconds to Rami. Last sentence to Rami, please.
I think the balance should be much more greater towards the democracy. Democracies have to be much more stronger than the ethnic.
Right.